It's got a great story, but I deal in facts, not stories. I don't even want to make you an offer.
Pawn stores have to make a profit, but sometimes deals can go too far and customers are scammed in the process. The show Pawn Stars shows just how questionable some of their tactics are and just how much money some customers are shorted. In this video, we will look at 10 times the Pawn Stars scammed customers.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
Number 10. Sir Isaac Newton book. Sir Isaac Newton was a physicist and mathematician that managed to build a general understanding of modern physics. No small feat. Many consider him one of the brightest minds ever. So, with so much history and importance, his original writings are extremely pricey. During an episode of Pawn Stars, a customer brought in what he claimed to be original writing of Newton's on alchemy. After an expert looked at the book, it was confirmed that it was indeed writing from Sir Isaac Newton himself. The expert valued it at around $20,000. Richard offered the customer only $5,000, however. Instead of walking out, the customer made a deal with Richard, selling the book for only $7,000, nearly a third of its worth. Ouch! Who likes bikes? Number 9. Harley Davidson. Corey was greeted by a customer selling a 1969 Harley Davidson Aermacchi. These bikes were made to be super lightweight and go extremely fast. Aermachis were often used at races, which makes sense considering they can go 177 miles per hour. The seller asked for $2,000. However, Corey worked him down to only $1,300, which is insane considering they can sell between $5,000 and $10,000. Corey himself mentioned that anything with Harley Davidson sells. It seems that Corey knew how big of a steal he was getting by buying the Italian-made Harley for only $1,300. Even worse, the bike belonged to the seller's wife, as he was throwing out some trash. Not only did he get rid of her bike, but he also got scammed. Good luck explaining that to the wife. Number 8. 49er Super Bowl rings. Sports memorabilia will make multiple appearances in this list, as their prices can fluctuate greatly based on team, year, and other contributing factors. This ends up leading many sellers to not truly understand the worth of the very piece they are selling. So when Rick, a seasoned Pawn Star, saw someone walk in with 3, he was ready to cash in big, at the seller's misfortune of course. All 3 rings were from the 49ers. Each ring was estimated to be worth between $30,000 and $40,000. An expert confirmed they were legitimate, however, claimed each ring was only worth around $20,000, which simply isn't true. So, Rick offered $60,000 for all 3 of the rings, way under the true value. Luckily, the seller was educated and knew he was being shortchanged, deciding to walk away from the offer altogether. Number 7. 1929 Chicago Cubs press pin. More sports. In 1929, the Chicago Cubs made it to the World Series. A seller walked in with an authentic 1929 Chicago Cubs press pin, asking for only $1,000 in exchange. Rick knew that was too little, instead giving the man $1,200. This seems like a gentleman's move until you realize the pin is actually worth about $3,000 to $4,000, meaning the seller was grossly underpaid. These pins are extremely rare, as only a handful of reporters were given one. Alongside that, 1929 was in the golden era of baseball, which went from the 1920s to the 1960s. Sadly, the seller simply had no grasp on how much the pin was worth, causing him to miss out on a lot of money. Always know the worth before you go into a pawn shop. Does that need an explanation?
It's actually a little cheap.
Okay.
$1,000.
Okay.
I was thinking like $1,200.
You won't expect what happens to this next piece of sports memorabilia. Number 6. 1961 San Francisco Giants baseball jersey. Number 6 on the list gets even more controversial. The seller claimed it was authentic, a signed Willie Mays uniform. However, the jersey was way too clean and undamaged to be authentic. Corey ended up buying the, may I add, fake uniform for a not-so-meager $31,000. A couple of years later, an identical jersey was auctioned off in Beverly Hills for $19,000. Not only did the Pawn Stars buy a fake jersey, losing around $12,000 in the process, they also knowingly sold a fake jersey in an auction. Not only was the move criminal, but it was also immoral. Many chastised them for the move. On the other hand, the seller managed to sell a completely fake jersey for $31,000 and escape unscathed. Whether he knew it was fake or not is another story. Either way, he certainly made his money. This shows why it is important to bring in experts that can certify the authenticity of an item. I'm sure Rick wasn't too happy with Corey for this one. Number 5. JFK Cigar Box. Anything related to JFK is going to sell like wildfire. The widely beloved president was assassinated 2 years into his term. Since then, the public has been fascinated with his death and legacy. So, for an item such as JFK's personal cigar box to go on sale, it is sure to sell for a good chunk of money. It is important as a seller to never give leverage to the buyer. However, when selling the cigar box, the seller did exactly that, disclosing he needed cash quick for his business. Rick at first offered $50,000, eventually settling at $60,000 after negotiations. While $50,000 is a lot of money, it's nowhere near the value of the cigar box. Nowhere near, as it was later sold for $500,000, about 8 times what Rick paid for. It was certainly a good business move, but you have to feel for the seller. As with a lot of the sellers on this list, he didn't know the worth of the item, leading Rick to easily take advantage of him.
It's fine because if I would have put it in an auction, I would have had to wait about 6 months. We need money now to get this new facility, so I'm good.
You'll never guess who scammed the seller in number 4. Number 4. The Godfather Signature. Everyone knows about The Godfather, one of the most famous movies ever. So of course a signed script is going to sell for a lot of money. The seller planned to use the money towards a charity, which makes it even worse when Rick dramatically underpaid her. An expert even confirmed the signature was authentic. Even after the expert's confirmation, Rick said he would only give her $500 for it. Thankfully, the seller had the common sense to walk away. She later sold the signed script for $12,000 at a charity event. Hey, we never said Rick had a heart. Number 3. Colt 45. If you've ever watched Pawn Stars, you've likely seen quite a few Colt 45s. The famous Western revolver has continued to draw sellers huge profits. Depending on the model, year, and user, they can even be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The seller made the nonsensical decision to inform Rick he had bought the revolver for $25. Yup, just $25. Rick knew he had leverage. Instead of calling an expert and possibly driving the price up, he offered the seller $3,000. While the seller seemed happy, he had no clue he had just been used. At the very minimum, the gun was worth $5,000. The expert arrived after the purchase, saying the price could range up to $42,000. Rick strikes again. Number 2. Signed 1951 New York Yankees baseball. The 1951 New York Yankees ended up winning the World Series. An expert came in to verify its authenticity but botched the entire thing. She claimed the worth was subjective, which simply isn't true. Similarly, signed baseballs had been sold for a certain price, so of course there was a general price range that the signed baseball was worth. The expert said $5,000 to $7,000 would be fair. However, after another appraisal, it certainly would not be. The 1951 signed baseball was later appraised at a whopping $15,000. Richard offered only $800. The seller had the common sense to not accept the rubbish deal, instead walking out with his baseball. I bet you can't guess where this crazy story goes. Number 1. Stolen gold coins. By far the most insane Pawn Stars scam. Coming in at number 1 on the list is a seller who came to Pawn Stars with old gold coins. This seems ordinary, as old coins are commonly sold at pawn shops. However, things took a drastic twist. The coins were sold to the woman for $12,000, but they weren't even hers. She had stolen the coins from her own uncle. Sadly, the man would never have a chance of getting his coins back. Pawn Stars melted the coins, as the gold alone was worth more than $12,000. The twists aren't done. The collection was actually worth around $50,000. Inside the collection were several extremely rare coins. Pawn Stars had no way of knowing they were single-handedly destroying this man's collection, but it happened nonetheless. The woman who stole and sold the coins would later go to jail for theft. Even if they weren't purposefully scamming the true owner, you have to feel for the man. Not only did his own family member steal and sell his prized collection, but the pawn shop also melted them, even when the coins were worth 4 times the price of the gold. He certainly saw some compensation, but probably not $50,000 worth. It's especially heartbreaking considering how rare and personal the collection was to the owner. Wow, the Pawn Stars have scammed quite a few customers over 15 seasons. Let us know which one you thought was the shadiest. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to do so. Hit the bell icon and turn on notifications so you'll be notified of the next video. Thanks.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.